Ladies and gentlemen, the legalization of marijuana shall be voted upon because we all know marijuana can only be used once federally legal, and nobody would dare smoke a joint without that legalization. Tesla, after calling out such an amazing price target on Tesla of $600 on November 16th, we just missed it 8 days later when we hit $598.78. Well, we go through 600 this week. Zoom reporting earnings. It's going to be a Thanksgiving to remember, as long as you had a good internet connection. Are humans finally ready for the next step to go to Mars? We're going to talk about the stocks you could watch next week, which might move upon it. And not only that, I think it's important that everybody works it. We're going to talk about work that Slack Technologies potentially getting taking over by CRM. I am Mark Melnick. This is the Newsbeat Show. So we're just going to start off here, ladies and gentlemen, tonight. We're going to talk a little about the marijuana vote. Marijuana vote coming in this week, and it was a little bit of an interesting thing coming out, and I'll just share with you. Um, MarijuanaMoment.net article here talking about a federal marijuana legalization bill that will get a congressional vote next week. Leader announces, and what happens is you saw the marijuana names exploding. We saw all the marijuana names moving on this. And again, if you're in the Newsbeat live room, T3's number one trading room here, trading room destination, number one fastest growing trading room as well. We were giving you this info here. So a lot of people in the room right now were buying this stock, in the 730s, 740s, 750s, 760s on Friday, right before the day ended, right before it exploded, and a lot of us are still riding it into this weekend, into this through the weekend into next week. But the important thing to notice here is these names can get a lot of volatility. People have been so out of favor on these marijuana names. It does. I can show you Tilray here as really, and I'll pull up a weekly chart right now just to show you where this Tilray has gone. Do you remember when this stock went to $300 back in September 2018? Only to get literally decimated. Stock back during the height of the COVID crisis hit $2.43, went as high as 12, and literally just started going up again as of Friday after the recent digestive pattern here on the daily as a result of this headline. Here are my thoughts. My thoughts are that traders are going to want to be in this. Traders are going to want to be in this because it's just too cheap not to. It's just too cheap not to be in some of these names with very cheap options, very, very small share prices, and a lot of these stocks are just really shorted to oblivion. A lot of these stocks are just shorted like you wouldn't believe some of these companies. And they're saying one site says Tilray right here has a 23% short float. If you go to, I think it's shortfloat.com or one of those short float sites, you could see it. I would tell you right now, if I was short any of these marijuana names, I would not want to be in it. I think people are going to be buying into them. And I just want to point out, and I'm going to get to Tesla here momentarily and revamp my thoughts on that because literally went from about 400 to 600 in 8 days right after I did my video. 8 days after I did my video. And I do want to give you guys a little bit of a follow up on that. But going back to the marijuana thing, people are going to want to be involved in this marijuana bill. Here's the thing, and I'll explain to you why. Nobody knows what the F it means. It's not like all these companies are sitting there rolling joints, giving it out in the schoolyard behind your child's school. I mean, a lot of these companies are using marijuana for medicinal purposes. A lot of them is recreational purposes. A lot of these companies are just literally selling the packaging to hold the marijuana. So there's obviously a very large industry behind it. It gets a ton of recreational use, just like you did in high school, right? So nobody really knows what this is going to mean for these companies. Everybody knows it's bullish, but nobody knows to what extent that these marijuana companies are going to take off. So just some marijuana companies that are going to be on my radar with their levels. I'll start off with Tilray, the one we were talking about on Friday that a lot of Newsbeat Live members, myself included, crushed. and we're going to talk about $9.33. $9.33, A plus trigger in Tilray. It's a methodology that I invented here, an A plus trigger, meaning that you could you'll see a large influx in volume if and when $9.33 breaks, even if it does it in the pre-market tomorrow. And I'm going to put a target, short-term target. If that happens and holds above on the daily, I think it'll go up another 33% in value. I think this stock could get to $12.15 potentially if you're able to hold above 933, which is percentage-wise massive, right? Moving on along, I want to talk about Tesla. And again, a lot of people reaching out to me, a lot of people thanking me for this one. Tesla has been just really our number one name. It's just been absolutely tremendous for us. It's just one of those names that have just been really holding up everything, holding up everything in this market in terms of the excitement for all these electric vehicle stocks. If you look at all these electric vehicle stocks, what you'll realize is you have a lot of these little Chinese companies that have been absolutely exploding. These Chinese companies that have been just really moving and running, and it's just been absolutely huge. My thoughts when this thing finally has a little digestion pattern lower, could look to buy it. I think you're going to see more analysts jump out of the woodworks. This is an all-time high. And again, if you watch the Newsbeat show on the evening right here of November 16, I explained to you exactly why I thought Tesla was going to go straight up to 600 when obviously people were a lot very skeptical about the name. So again, on Friday we hit 598.78 here. We technically did not hit my target. Honestly, I thought we were going to test and break 600. So we didn't test and we didn't break it, but it's sort of $1.22 away. So I figured I'd start talking about it now. No real levels to watch other than Friday's high on this one, which was 598.78, the all-time high. See what happens if and when we could hit 600. Zoom is reporting, that's Zulu Michael. This stock is going to be reporting tomorrow after the close. And it's just one of those stocks that, everybody's using. Everybody likes to say how easy and simple it is to duplicate their technology. You've seen days where companies like Facebook came out saying that they were going to have competing platforms with them, and then Zoom intraday starts nosediving. And again, if you like this sort of news flow, there's no better place to get it than the Newsbeat Live Room, of course. And then, of course, you have other companies like Google just flushing and, you know, Google flushing down when they say that their Zoom type platform might not be as good as Zoom's or runs into issue, and you see Zoom going up. There's a lot of drama behind this name. Here's the bottom line. Everybody is still using Zoom. Everybody is still using Zoom. And looking at a company like this and looking at, what this company does, um, I have no doubt that their earnings are going to be spectacular. Now, does that mean they gap up? No. Does that mean they gap down? No. I think Wall Street, I'm not sure what kind of lofty expectations, they were looking for, but I'll tell you right now, a lot of communication still goes on Zoom. I've been using Zoom more than ever. We just passed a U.S. holiday on Thanksgiving, where if you live in some states, including mine, the great armpit of America, the great garbage state of New Jersey. If you ever, the beautiful thing about New Jersey is if you ever have to smell something that smells like a fart, just open your window. Usually it's kind of funny. People open their windows to let that smell out. In New Jersey, you open it to let it in. So you just know what, just to be reminded of where you live. But going back to Zoom, yeah, a lot of people on Thanksgiving we're using Zoom, connecting to people through Zoom, and it's definitely going to be one of the things to watch. So that's going to be on my radar. They are reporting tomorrow after the close. This is going to be sort of a hot one, which has been really moving up, as has a lot of names, is space. Now, here's the thing. I love when the fundamental analysts get into space. They talk about space, which is, of course, Sandy Papa Charlie Echo, Virgin Galactic Holdings. And they talk about this space here. And they're like, well, it makes no sense. And I agree. Fundamentally, the company is garbage. How many people are going to want to spend two, three, $400,000 to go in zero gravity? Who? Me. I would do it, but my wife would kill me, and I have to, you know, literally after watching the Tyson fight, literally have to measure the risk reward of, flying at zero gravity and my wife's right hook. And honestly, I think the latter is a little more deadly. So I will not be flying in zero gravity anytime soon. But for the people who do, this company can't make money. But doesn't mean doesn't mean that the stock isn't going to go higher. If you want to know a stock that can never make money, has something related to space, to a private company, SpaceX, which is a different company, of course, is me showing you the yearly chart here. Don't worry about these lines on Tesla. On Tesla. And here's a company that could never make money, almost ever. They're still barely making money now. And look at what this company has done this year. This company, literally off the lows, went up almost more closer to 8.5 times in value off the low. Post split, post 5-for-1 split, $70 10-cent low, $598.78 high. So when I came out on November 16th and I was putting the $600 target, there are a lot of people skeptical, but I explained exactly why I thought it was going to happen. I was very adamant about it. It was the first video that I've probably done in a very long time here. I've been doing most of my videos private here in the room. I've been trying to focus on my room and making sure they do well. Um, and we really hit a consistency rate that you'll see nowhere else in the industry, which is why I started really doing these public videos again for you guys. And I just hope you guys enjoy it, and you can't. And I know some of you guys missed it a lot and you were looking forward to it, and I do apologize for that, but just at least respect that the people who already swiped their credit cards, that I'm going above and beyond for all those people day after day, over delivering every time, trying to do my best to get them to the next level as a trader. And I think everyone here can respect that. So going back to space, here's the interesting thing I'm going to show you here. Here's the interesting thing I'm going to show you on space. So SpaceX is about to launch its prototype ship, Starship, to Mars on its most ambitious flight yet. So they're going to literally launch the rocket in which they're planning on having this rocket that you see here be the rocket that takes humanity to Mars. And it's going to be the prototype Starship rocket. I find it funny when they name it Starship. It's like Starship Enterprise. It's like, beam me up, Elon. It reminds you of the old Star Trek days. People are not going to know how to play this. There is no way to play SpaceX. But as a default, people are going to hit into Virgin Galactic Holdings. I've seen it enough time, in my opinion. We'll see if it goes up or down, but this is going to be what people watch. Because very simply here, there's no way to play SpaceX. It's a private company owned by Elon Musk. It's going to be impossible to be able to trade it. The flight is going to be called SN8, which has a much more adorable name than he named his daughter. But looking at this, they're already talking about the launch this week, and they're showing the test flight and how it's going to release. It's very cool stuff if you're into outer space stuff. And the way traders are going to end up playing this, in my opinion, is they're going to look at Virgin Galactic. You've been seeing a ton of option activity go up. There's a huge A plus trigger that was at $28. You sort of broke it last Friday and then pulled in at the end of the day. If you're able to get back above Friday's high, very simply of 28.88, I could see this stock going to $34.69 as its next target, potentially. Something I'm going to watch. I don't have any position in that right now. And then next, of course, is work. You gotta work. That was no, I'm the only one who listens to RuPaul. Go figure. Anyway, so work was a stock that we called on Wednesday of last week. Here's a 5-minute chart, and we called it right around this range when it was about $31. I was able to nail in $32 calls expiring that week at like 52 cents. And in case any of you guys are not option traders here, I'm pretty much paying $52 for the ability to buy work, 100 shares of work at $32. So I was able to take, a lot more than one, but those 52-cent calls literally pop to like 7.5 bucks, give or take. So if you think about it for 1 second, you could have made about $7. So if you literally did a $500 bet at that exact point, literally you could have turned that into $7,000 in like less than 15 minutes. Post halts and whatever, obviously, but because it got halted on circuit breakers while going up. Just to give you an idea of how powerful that news flow was. And again, we did hit this news flow before the majority of Wall Street, which is why we were able to get in at a very early price. We also hit this news flow in the marijuana names before the majority of Wall Street, which is why we were able to get down here in this price. And the beautiful thing about early news flow for me is you could really, has almost and almost nothing at any time to do with your charts, the fundamental analysis of the company, who's the CEO, who the secretary was sleeping with last night. All these things don't really matter. Their earnings, what they're reporting. These things don't really have much of a say when you run into these news flow things. It just sort of looks like the stock is doing nothing, and then all of a sudden something happens. So on a 5 minute chart, or I could even take you to a 1 minute chart of Tilray just to show you what I mean and why breaking news flow is the most important thing that I would say. If you ask me right now, what's the biggest thing that the majority of traders out there are ignoring and not paying attention to? It's news flow. It's finding a service that gets you the earliest news flow humanly possible. So here's a 1 minute chart. I have my stupid moving averages and VWAP. And yes, I do technical analysis, and it's not stupid. It's what I use, and I do it very consistently. Like, for example, I make money every single day this month, and that's not really, crazy thought. And there are a lot of Newsbeat Live members who do that. So forget about the consistency. This is what Tilray looked like. What's special about this? There's nothing special about this. This is a 1 minute chart of Tilray from Friday. And then I could tell you could look over here, it's going down and then up and then down, up, down, up. Then all of a sudden, I could come out and say, well, you know, Tilray, there's going to be a marijuana vote next week on the floor for Tilray, Tango Lima Romeo Yankee. And of course, it didn't matter if you're watching Tilray or some of the other marijuana names, and there's a plethora of them: ACB, Kronos, etc., etc., etc. Kern, KERN is a weed comp play. But let me show you what the next 1 minute bar looks like. You ready? Looking at your chart, you're looking at your screen. Watch this. So my point is, when this happened, it doesn't matter that Tilray is a sucky company that couldn't make 10 cents if its life depended on it. That doesn't really matter at that point, because traders and robots, more importantly, are going to blindly thrust themselves face first into this, as I do with my television screen when Keeping Up with the Kardashians come on. I put on a helmet and I jump face first into my screen. But the good news is I'm looking to get a new TV tomorrow on Cyber Monday. But besides for that, looking at this, that's why I'm saying that it really doesn't matter how, for myself personally, I could talk on my own behalf. It doesn't really matter to me what Tilray does fundamentally. I don't care if they sell, recycled toilet paper. I don't care if they sell, oregano clumped together with roach spray trying to pass it off as marijuana. Like, all these things don't really matter to me at that point. But as soon as the news flow comes in, I'm able to capitalize on a company that I really don't. It doesn't even matter if I know what they do, which I do, obviously, but it wouldn't even matter. That's the benefit of good news flow. You don't have to be, in my opinion, a good trader to make money trading news flow. You can suck as a trader and still see what's going on inside the Newsbeat live room when we talk about this news flow. Agree, Susan? Yep. And here's the next minute bars. I'll just keep going for you. So after that big minute bar that I showed you, I'll go back one. Here's the next one. So just to give you an idea, within these 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes, just to give you an idea what happened, I was buying options at about 4 cents, $4. If you bet $400, you don't need a lot of money to buy options. That's the thing. That's the Wall Street scam that everybody says. All these chat rooms, which are 100% common stock based, you can't make money if you have a small account. There are people in here who start off with $1,000, $1,500 accounts, and they're over 100,000, 200,000 right now. They start in with these $5,000 accounts, they're over 100,000, 200,000 right now because they trade options, not because they're, you know, like what are you going to do with, $1,000? What are you going to do with a $2,500 account? You're going to go all in on a stock and hope it goes up 100% in value and put in every single penny you have? Or would you rather take something like Tilray? You could bet $200 where we did on Tilray, where I did. I can't talk on your behalf, where I did on Tilray on Friday. You could take $200 of a bet. Worst case scenario, you're going to lose it all. Likely scenario, you might lose $50, $25, $100 would be more logical of a loss, not all of it, but you have to be honest. Worst case scenario, you lose 100%, right? If you were to hold that Tilray for about what 90 seconds from those 4 cent options, and you bought 50 of them, you bet a $200 bet, they went to about 35 cents. So to let you know, your $200 literally turned into over $1,700 within 90 seconds. You tell me how good of a trader you need to be in order to take advantage of that. Now, what if you actually understood the news flow and I gave you free videos on how to interpret my news flow? What if you literally had my software layout on how to get into these things as early and as simply as possible? What if you had that all for free just for being a Newsbeat Live member? It sounds amazing, right? Most people who come to T3 agree with that. The majority of people, just statistically talking. And this is what it kept doing after, by the way. After that. For me, most of my trade was done at this point. I had zero FOMO, zero psychological toxicity. I wasn't nervous. It was very easy. I put in a little more than a couple $100 in it, but I just wanted to give you an example of what news flow looks like. We're able to take advantage of it. And there are a lot of traders now still holding Tilray from last week off of this news flow. That's the power of news flow. See, the problem is with most traders, and this was me too, and I've been trading 21 years, and how many of you were plagued by this is when you see those big green bars, you look around and you're like, what's happening? What happened? And it seems like already by the time you figured out what happened, or by the time your news service showed it to you, it's already too late. How many of you guys right now watching on YouTube, on Facebook can relate with that? How many of you guys in the Newsbeat Live Room, before the Newsbeat Live Room, you guys can relate with that? I mean, I could relate with that. That used to piss me off. That used to piss me off because I would see a stock like this and I would say, well, who the F is buying down here? And why am I only looking at it up here? Who? Who the F is buying it over here? Me? You? Newsbeat Live members. Yep. 1800%. Yeah. I mean, calls, Boogie's calls went up 1800%, just to give you an idea. So I might have not even taken the best idea. But actually, wait, my calls went up about 1,000%. That wasn't that bad. In 90 seconds, it went up more afterwards, but went up about 1,000%. It wasn't 1,800% like yours, Boogie, but it wasn't bad. Who cares? You know, what's another 900,000% between friends? Anyway, point being is my trade lasted 90 seconds. That's the power of what we do here. And now we could sit back and talk about what can happen next week, and I could talk about it further with you. But this happened out of nowhere in a real-time situation in the Newsbeat live room, and I don't know other services, um, any trading room services that are bringing you news flow that early. You might have heard the news, but not when we were talking about the news, is what usually happens. So keep that in mind. A lot of traders in our room, they're purely news flow traders, and they're like, Mark, I don't want to trade Tesla. I just want your news flow, and I want to do my thing, and they utilize us for the news flow, which is fine too. Next, I want to talk about work. Yes, work was another name in which, and I'm showing you a 1 minute chart here that we were buying over here. I'll switch it over to the 5 minute chart. Work was another news flow name in which we gave you over here. Hearing that Salesforce might be looking to buy them as early as this week, according, I think it was to the Wall Street Journal, if I'm not mistaken. The New York Post said Oracle might be a rival suitor for this stock. So there might be a few companies coming out fighting to buy this company this week. So it's definitely something I need on my radar. Um, Made just stupid amount of money. Like I think I had my best day this year on Wednesday. Ironically, the day before Thanksgiving, when I've been trading 21 years, so I guess I'm guessing that would be my 21st time trading this week, last week that is. And I'll tell you, if you told me at the beginning of the year, like Mark, you're gonna have like your best day trading on a Thanksgiving day, like the day before Thanksgiving, I would laugh at you. I'd be like, no way. Here it is. Stock went from 29.45 to 40.99. Newsbeat Live members got that info stupid early. But again, I'm not here to just throw my room in what we do here. I'm obviously just talking about it because I think there could still be further action this week. There's a lot of great news flow things we catch in our service that I'm not even bringing up here tonight. I just wanted to talk more about the stocks that I feel could move. There might be companies fighting for work here. I think it was either the New York Post or New York Times or whatever said that they were expecting $42 plus bid for work. I disagree with that. Nobody knows. I mean, hindsight will be 2020. If I had to guess, I'm thinking they're going to have to offer at least 50 bucks. I think you're going to have to offer at least 50 bucks if you want to take work. People are underestimating the fact that they have other potential suitors. It's one thing when you go to one person who's interested in you and say, "This is what, this is what I have." It's almost like, desperation. And in desperation, they tried to sell to the one potential suitor and they tried to make a deal. But I'm hearing like Oracle might be interested. I'm hearing, CRM Salesforce might be interested. And that's coming out of the New York Post, of course. If you didn't hear, saying Salesforce reportedly in talks to buy Slack despite the CEO denial. So that's kind of absolutely hilarious. So we'll see what happens. It could be a little bit of drama on this one this week. How about some algo levels for you guys? Real trend lines drawn by people who understand trend lines, not taught by people who think straight lines represent support and resistance, but people who actually understand algorithmic levels. Right over here are the levels for tomorrow. You can hit print screen. If you're in the Newsbeat live room, it'll be in your Twitter as well as in your portal. Here are tomorrow's levels today. They're there for you. Take advantage of them if you'd like. So we're definitely going to have a very drama-filled December. I know tomorrow is not December. I know the day after tomorrow is December. So December 1st is coming this Tuesday. We'll have our last trading day of the month tomorrow. And just absolutely historic November for me with all the moves, especially after our Tesla call and everything. I think making money is really easy. I showed you a 12-year-old who's averaging 500 to 2,000 a day, had almost a $5,000 day, making money consistently. 12-year-old kid from Singapore, following the Newsbeat strategies. I talked about it in our Newsbeat fireside chat. If you want to watch some of our earlier videos, it might have been the last video or the one before. I apologize. I don't remember which one it was. And just really honored. I mean, really honored to have a room of consistent traders that all have one goal in mind to make money and to do it on a phenomenally consistent basis. So, yeah, I hope you guys are really enjoying these shows. I know we've been doing some of the Ask Marks with you, in which a lot of you guys absolutely loved. And yeah, and I just hope you guys continue enjoying what we do here, continue benefiting. Happy trading, make money. If you're interested in anything we do here, links in the description to show you how to get involved. Happy trading, make money. We'll see you guys next time on the Newsbeat live trading broadcast. Have a wonderful weekend.